Hey, what's happening, guys? I'm back. Got another good ass food recipe for you. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of surf and turf. Everyone likes a little bit of surf and turf. You got the beef, you got the seafood, bunch of variations of this. So I'm going to show you what I like to do. Tonight we're going to grill up some 1-inch cut Kansas City strips. That's going to be accompanied by the surf version, which I got some 21-25 count white shrimp and then 2 6-ounce lobster tails. Going over the seafood is going to be a white wine reduction. For the steak, we're simply just going to put an herb butter on there that I made earlier today. Steak's going to rest on a bed of grilled green onions and asparagus. Now, the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and make the white wine reduction, because you can make that ahead, set that aside, because it's a real timing effort when you're going to cook the seafood with the steak. So we're going to do the sauce, we're going to put the lobster on, then the steak, and watch this all come together. We got everything set up, ready to go. We're going to do all this on the grill, so I use a little cast iron skillet to go ahead and make the sauce and show you can make this outside. So if you're camping, grilling out or anything like that, you can make a 5-star meal at home. So when I get back, I'm going to show you how to put this all together and throw it on the grill. I'll be right back. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get this sauce going. Call it a reduction because basically we are going to let that white wine reduce a little bit. A lot of recipes will call for a 1/4 cup of whatever liqueur, wine, whatever you're using. Like all the recipes before, I like to taste the alcohol, the wine, or whatever, so we're actually going to use about a cup. The first thing you want to do is we're going to use a cast iron skillet. Get that on there, let it heat up. We're going to melt 4 tablespoons of butter. Get that melting down. The next thing that we're going to put in is our garlic and our shallots. You want to make sure to go ahead and brown the garlic and the shallots, but not burn them before you put anything else in. Nothing's worse than burnt garlic. It's going to ruin the entire flavor of the sauce. Get that stuff browning nicely. The next thing that we're going to put on is the lobster tails itself. Now, any lobster tail you get is going to come, full shelled. This is just a 6-ounce version of this. So what I do, and what you should do, is take some culinary shears, come to the front end of it, and cut a slit down the back side. Be sure to only cut the shell itself, all the way down to the tail. This is going to allow it to expand and release the meat from the shell as it cooks. Now, if we were to throw these on the grill just like this, these guys would curl up into a C shape. So to avoid that, what you want to do is take some skewers, come from the back side, come under the tail fin, and place that through just like that. That way when it's cooking, it won't allow it to curl up. Set those aside. Our garlic and our shallots are about browned. Next thing we're going to throw in are the herbs, spices, and the lemon. Let that reduce a little bit more. Then we're going to put in about a cup to a cup and a half of white wine. Let that boil for a minute, set that off the grill, and throw these guys on. We are going to put these meat side down, so that means legs up. We're not going to put these directly over the fire. We're going to set it to the side of the fire where this meat side is actually right at the edge of the heat. That way it cooks all the way through. These are going to cook for about anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes on this side. Then we're going to turn them over. At that point, we're going to drizzle them with some butter and garlic. Let them cook just like that. In the meantime, we're going to put the steaks on and let those blacken on each side. We're going to go about 4 minutes on each side on the steaks. Set those aside, put the herb butter on there, and let those rest. Alright, our got a good brown on the garlic and the shallots. Let's go ahead and add everything else. We got 2 tablespoons of parsley, 2 tablespoons of tarragon. Let's go ahead and throw in half of our lemon juice and zest. We're going to save the rest to go at the end. If you have this directly over the coals, go ahead and set it to the side a little bit. That cast iron is going to retain that heat. Let that cook down a little bit. Grab our lobster. Like I said, put it meat side down, right in front of the coals, where the meat side is right on the edge of the coal. Close that lid. We're going to let these cook for about 2 minutes and go ahead and put the steaks on. At the very end is when we're actually going to throw the shrimp on, because they only need to be on about maybe a minute on each side, if that. Nothing worse than rubbery shrimp. So for these steaks, all we're going to do is put salt, and I like to use sea salt, and pepper. You don't need to over season your steak. A good steak does not need a steak sauce, does not need a bunch of seasoning. If it's cooked right, you don't need all that. Flip it over. Season that other side. Press it in, it's sea salt, so it comes in chunks. Make sure it gets in there. Okay. I go ahead and baste the steaks with a little bit of my buttered garlic, just so it doesn't stick to the grill, and it'll add flavor all the way through. Alright, by now, it's time to go ahead and throw these steaks right on the grill. We're going to put them right on the coals. I'm going to lower my rack to the lowest temperature, or the lowest level, so we still have a hot temperature, but it's not going to overcook or burn. Take our shrimp, set those aside. They'll come into play here towards the end. Put these guys right over the coals. We're going to quarter turn these about 2 minutes in. That'll give us 4 minutes on that side. We're going to switch it and do the same. Alright, let's go ahead and add our white wine. Like I said, I like to add, a good cup and a half. Let that stuff reduce down. You can't have enough of it, because it is going to reduce and just thicken as it goes. A little bit more there. I like to use a Chardonnay. Any dry white wine will work. You definitely don't want to use a sweet wine, or it's actually going to be too sweet by the time it gets put on the steak. Take a little bit of S&P, put it in that sauce. Close that lid. We're going to close that for 3 minutes now, because it's been on there for about a minute. That'll be perfect timing to flip the steaks and the lobster. Set those aside, and then we'll go ahead and put our green onions and asparagus on. Let those blacken up a little bit. Put our shrimp on, and then assemble the whole thing. Be back here in a couple minutes to show you the rest of it. Alright guys, so we've done cooked the steaks, set them aside to rest. Our lobster tails, we've done turned them over. We're setting those to side to rest. Let's go ahead and put our greens on so they can blacken on both sides. While this is happening, take some of your garlic butter, drizzle it right over the lobster tails. Be generous with it. You won't be disappointed. Grab your herb butter, cut a couple slices per steak. Flip our greens. You're always going to lose some of your greens unless you use a tray. I don't like to use a tray because I'm a rebel like that. Getting a nice blackening on there. Shut this lid, let everything melt down. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of heavy whipping cream to this white wine sauce. Put everything on the plate and get our shrimp on for the finishing touch. We'll be right back. All right, y'all, it's that time. Everything's ready to go. The greens are nice and blackened. It'll make a nice bed for that steak to lay on. I went ahead and put the sauce pan back over the coals. We're going to add a little bit of whipping cream to this just to add a creamy element to it. Not much, maybe even just a quarter cup. Mix that in real good. Pull that over to side heat. We're going to take our steaks, pull them off the grill. Oh, if you guys can smell this, it's ridiculous. Let those rest. You always want to let your steak rest. We're going to take our lobster tail, and to serve this, you can completely deshell it. You can do whatever you like. We're just going to take the cut that we did in the very beginning, in one cut all the way through, just slice that shell all the way down. We're going to open that up on the plate, and that's how it's actually going to be presented on the plate. Take some of your butter garlic, drizzle that over a little bit. Take the rest of our lemon, drizzle a little bit over the lobster. Throw the rest of it right in our sauce. At this point, let's go ahead and put our shrimp on. Everything's counting down. Like I said, all we're going to do is a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper. Flip those guys over. Put them right over the coals while everything else is resting. Pull our lobster to the side. Get our plate that we're going to plate on. Sauce is thickening up a little bit. Grab our plate, our mixed veggies of asparagus and green onion, nice and blackened. We're just going to take about half of these. We made enough for 2 portions here. Arrange those as a nice bed on the plate for this steak. Take one of your Kansas City strips. That herb butter on there. Turn it to the side a little bit. Take our lobster. Set it ready to go. Flip our shrimp. Only have about 45 seconds left on that shrimp. Get our sauce ready. Drizzle a little bit right over that lobster. Take our shrimp, pull them off to the side. Apply a little more of our wine reduction over the shrimp. Make it look all pretty because that's always important, right? And there you have it, Midwest Surf and Turf. We have a Kansas City strip with a herb butter sauce on top. It's sitting on a bed of green onions and asparagus that's been grilled, just salt and peppered. And then the surf version is lobster and white shrimp. Enjoy, everybody. I'll be back with more recipes and more videos. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel, and I appreciate everything. Talk to you soon.